42-year-old mom is taken aback when someone enters her birthday party unexpectedly, revealing a 20-year-old secret. There's one special day that everybody waits for all through the year: their birthday. It's your day and you're the center of attraction on this day. You get a number of presents for your special day and they're all adored by you. But what if you could get a gift that's not materialistic but a human, and someone that you could have never even thought of seeing in person, let alone meeting? Estelita Merg has a story of her birthday wherein she gets a gift she'd not even expected for a wildest of her dreams. A person walks in as her birthday present, and that's the most unexpected gift she could have ever considered. There are always two types of people. First, the majority kind who are excited for their special day and celebrate it to their fullest. The second type is the ones who do not bother themselves with a birthday, and for them it's just like any normal day. This group of people run away from celebrations and try to avoid them as much as possible. Merg, also known as Leia to those around her, got an exquisite out-of-the-blue person as a present on her 42nd birthday. Merg lives in West Virginia and is mother of 2 children, a daughter and a son. And before we get into the details of the evening of Estelita's birthday, we need to know she was not a birthday person. So how would she react to her present? Estelita's been traveling all through her life and has never really settled in one place. In 1982, she moved to Austin, Texas, and just 8 years after that, she moved to Fort Lauderdale. And that's not been it either. In 2002, Merg relocated to Bay City in Michigan and is presently residing in West Virginia. The reason why Merg relocated and traveled so frequently and extensively is unknown, but she's had a rough and a difficult life since a very young age. Maybe that was the reason why she kept on running from her fears and stress. Estelita became a mother at a very early age. She was less than 22 years old when she became a mother to her first child. And what made things difficult was that her husband left her alone at that stage. She was clueless about what to do. Being a single mother at such an early age was demanding, and she was just 22. And to make things worse, she'd filed for a divorce, the signing of which her husband had made it taxing for her, and she was unable to bear it. This made a deep impact on her mind and her conditions. Merg was born in 1975 in New Albany, Mississippi, and currently at the age of 42, she works as a sales and marketing manager at Harbor Freight Tools. With life so vast and difficult, would Estelita become welcoming to her unexpected birthday present, or would she get scared? After many years of divorce from her first husband, Estelita slowly but gradually made peace with her little family of 2 children and the love of her life, whom she'd found after the divorce with her ex-husband. Merg had all that she thought she wanted, but there was always something missing in her life that could not keep her satisfied. For her 42nd birthday, Merg's sister, her husband, friends, and children had planned a surprise party for her with a present that would leave her astonished, and not with the same life she'd been living. It was no ordinary surprise for Merg that she would have expected from anyone. Estelita's family and friends had decided that they'd make her 42nd birthday the most special day of her life. Her 42nd birthday present, which would be a spellbound surprise for her, and she would never be able to get over it. But would she be mad about it? Or would she be in awe of it? Estelita's friends had decided and planned for a dinner at C.J. Maggie's, a local barbecue and pizza joint, for her birthday celebrations. The restaurant, the surprise, everything was pre-planned. The only task was to convince Estelita to join them. Although Estelita was not a birthday person and had never been excited about the day at all, she agreed upon having a decent dinner with her well-wishers. But she was wholly unaware of the person she was going to meet as her birthday surprise that day. When Estelita reached C.J. Maggie's, she saw a group of strangers loitering around the restaurant in excitement. It seemed strange to her as to why the group was roaming around the place. She noticed them and pondered upon it for a fraction of a second, but ignored them the next moment. After all, it was none of her concern. The major part of the surprise that was planned for Estelita on her birthday was planned by her sister, Hope. Hope loved her sister dearly and knew all about her sister and what she went through all her life. She knew that Estelita had always felt like something major was missing from her life. Merg reached inside the restaurant and everyone greeted her and wished her on her birthday. They'd booked a whole floor to themselves, and she noticed an unusual level of excitement and happiness in the guests, which she was confused about. Cunningham recalled the Inside Edition. Merg kept asking, "Why is everyone making a big deal about this dinner?" The gathering ordered food and the evening went on for all of them. But Estelita could not help noticing the weird way in which everyone was behaving. She'd started to feel really uncomfortable by now, and was totally unaware as to who was going to be a part of her celebration in some time. Suddenly, while eating the meal, Hope went outside the restaurant, and that was very odd for Merg. She was bewildered and got worried about her sister. Merg thought that her sister might not have been feeling well and wanted to check on her. As soon as Estelita stood up to go and check on her sister, it was fine. She saw Hope entering inside the restaurant from the stairs, which were dark, and noticed a group of strangers walking in with her sister. Estelita could not understand anything and could only see a group of strangers singing happy birthday to her. When the group came in a little lighted area, Merg noticed that it was the same group of people who were roaming outside the restaurant. A girl who looked around 20 years old came out from the group with a cake in her hands and wished Estelita. She hugged her and greeted her, and that's when Estelita understood what was going on, and she had tears in her eyes, not being able to believe who was in front of her. Estelita did not take another minute to identify the girl after she stood up from the crowd and introduced everyone to one another, her second daughter. The people who were not part of the surprise were confused, just like you and I. Estelita always had two children, a daughter and a son. Then who was this second daughter? After her first two children, Estelita had another daughter, her third child. But since Merg had been facing so many ups and downs and was not stable in her life under the pressure of raising two kids alone, she knew she would not be able to give the little baby girl the quality of life that she deserved to have. With a heavy heart and for the betterment of her little baby, Merg decided on going for a closed or secret adoption of the baby. Merg had named the baby Dakota Love. Cunningham, who was a teenager at the time, told Inside Edition, "Merg knew she wanted her children to have a better life. She struggled with it. These are not easy decisions, but she wanted what was best for her daughter." Little Dakota was adopted by the Rogers family in Florida, and they named her Natalie. Since it was a closed adoption, neither the Rogers nor Estelita ever knew about each other, so there was no chance of Natalie ever getting to know who her biological mother was. So then, how exactly did Natalie end up at her biological mother's 42nd birthday? The major missing factor of Estelita had always felt in her life was nothing else but this daughter of hers. She'd sent the girl away with the best intentions, but had missed her every day of her life. And her children and sister knew about the feelings of hers. In the summer of 2016, Natalie, while talking to her mother, Anita Rogers, told her that she had a fondness for the name Dakota. Although Natalie was unaware that her biological mother had named her Dakota, she admitted to the likeness of it. It showed that the two were deeply connected. When Anita heard about Natalie's fondness for the name Dakota, she felt like she should tell her the truth. Anita told Natalie about her closed adoption, but was herself not aware of who Natalie's biological mother was. After Natalie came to know about her adoption, she made up her mind to search for her biological mother. She wanted to know who brought her into this life. But since the adoption was closed and secretive, the way to finding her mother would be difficult for young Natalie. Natalie put all her energy and trying process to find her biological mother. She wanted to tell her mother that she was brought up in a beautiful and lovely family and that she was doing more than just fine and was very happy with her parents. After a lot of efforts and requests to the adoption center, Natalie finally found out about Estelita. As soon as Natalie got to know her mother's name, she started searching for her on social media. In not much time, the mother-daughter duo had started talking to each other when Natalie sent a message to Estelita on Facebook, and they both talked endlessly and got to know everything about one another. For years, Natalie and Estelita talked to each other on text, but none of them ever mentioned about meeting the other. Estelita was happy to know her daughter, whom she'd missed and wondered about since so many years, and Natalie was glad that she could know her biological mother. Natalie'd been in touch with her biological mother, Estelita's son, Zion, as well. Zion was deciding on the gift he could give to his mother when the idea of inviting Natalie crossed his mind. With the help of Hope and Anita, the two kids worked on surprising Estelita on her birthday. Zion and Hope's idea worked, and the mother-daughter duo hugged each other with tear-filled eyes. The two finally met each other after 2 decades, and it was a feeling of ecstasy after such a long wait. Natalie came to meet her mother on her birthday with a birthday present that she'd put a lot of thought into. Since the two were living separate lives since 2 decades, there was a lot that Estelita had missed out on. And so Natalie made a scrapbook of all the major events in her life that she thought Estelita would be happy to see. After seeing the scrapbook and talking to her daughter, Estelita was sure that she'd made the right decision of giving her away for adoption because she was raised so beautifully by the Rogers. She did not regret her decision and was happy on seeing Natalie so happy in her life. When the guests saw Estelita and Natalie, nobody felt like they were meeting for the first time. They all thought that the two had known each other since always. There was no awkwardness, and it looked so true how blood relations always remain no matter what. Natalie and Estelita were the same kind of people in many ways. They both had a lot in common between them. With the same kind of passion, hobbies, likes, and dislikes, the two seemed to be inseparable. One of the happiest people to see Estelita finally meet her daughter was Hope. The two sisters have a lovely relation between them, and each knows what the other wants. I knew one day Merg would be able to see her daughter, Cunningham explained to Inside Edition. They didn't skip a beat. Rogers fit right in, like she should have been here her whole life. She further explained, the reunion was such an emotional moment. Merg feels whole again. Natalie's been such a lucky person to have two mothers in Estelita and Anita. She does not only have the support of one but two different mothers from two far-off distances in the world. Estelita's 42nd birthday indeed proved out to be the most special day of her life, even though she'd never been a birthday person. She was more than happy to have met her daughter after giving her birth 20 years back when even she was just 22 years old, and was too young to have cared for a third child who she loved dearly but could not take responsibility for. After the mother-daughter reunion, the Rogers family and Estelita's family have been one big happy family who meet and greet each other continuously, ready to support or help each other at any hour. Estelita's husband has been very supportive of her reunion with her daughter. They're a happy family together. At the end, we want to know your opinion about the story in the comments box below.